Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Switch It Up Show. It is episode 133. Can you believe that, Mr. Setrev?
Wow, that's a ton.
That is a ton. I mean, a ton is 2,000, but that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. We have not one, but two games here, as always, on the Switch It Up Show. Mine's I don't even know. I want to say it's an interesting take on like an App Store classic, but it's really not that interesting. How about you? What do you have? Maybe lighten the mood for me.
I wish that I could, my dude. It's definitely a bizarre game. So bizarre, in fact, they called it Robozorro.
All right, well, let's go ahead and enjoy a little bit of Ana Mana Gucci before we bring it down. Gucci, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you enjoy those wonderful tones, make sure you check out the show notes where you can catch the link to all the music we use here at the show, as well as the YouTube and everybody's Twitter right there in the show notes for your beck and call, I suppose. Let's kick it off with the very, very first game, and that's going to be Parking Madness. Now, basically, for those of you who are not familiar, the process, for the show involves a lot of just browsing through the eShop, reaching out to our different points of contact, and, seeing if we can possibly get our hands on a review copy. And before we do either one of these reviews, Seth and I don't really tell each other what we think of either of the games. We kind of just come up with our list, throw the games on there, say, I'm talking about this, you're talking about this, cool, let's go, and then we go.
We can't talk about it before we actually record. We've had numerous times where we've sworn we've done reviews for games and haven't, because we just have conversations with each other.
We try.
So just gripping and in depth.
That's it.
It feels like it's so natural. So you're getting no natural.
That's
it. Cast of the Switch It Up Show.
That's right. This is the full thing. It's not pasteurized in any way. You're getting the absolute, like, the raw review.
Farm fresh.
That's it.
Cut off fresh off the vine. Picked by the hands that grew them.
That's it. So we try not to talk too much about this in advance, and it's awesome that people will give us the chance to review all of these different games. But when I first saw this, I was like, oh, Parking Madness on the Nintendo eShop, $6, available now. Came out August 23rd for one player, a racing sports puzzle strategy game from the wonderful people at 11 Sheep. Supported in Japanese, English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Korean, Dutch, Portuguese, and Russian. Sounds like a good time. And when I looked at it, I was like, this reminds me of the game on the App Store or the Play Store, if you are of the Android persuasion, where you are presented that like classic parking puzzle where you have to slide the cars around in order to get one of them to leave the lot. And I was like, cool. Like
those old pictures where you have just one square missing and you've got to just shift everything around until it makes the donkey face or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me hit you with the synopsis here before I just ruin it for you. Solve the parking problems and drive your car out of the parking area. Parking Madness is a challenging and addictive puzzle game. Help get your car out of many difficult parking situations. Try to finish the game as little moves as possible and increase your IQ and logical thinking. You need to get your car out to the exit gate. You need to. To accomplish this game, just move the blocking vehicles out of the way. This game comes with 4 difficulties ranging from beginner to expert. It just ends right there. That's all they give you.
Hey.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if you think that when they said drive your car out of the lot, you get to drive, no. If you think maybe when Glenn says drive, he means this is first-person game, maybe this is an interesting take on a classic, idea. Hey, it's not. It's the same car moving puzzle game that you've seen on the App Store in at least 20 different ways. It's exactly the same. There are different levels in terms of difficulty, but it just gets harder as you play it. So we're talking there are 560 levels, it looks like. That's a lot of parking problems. A lot. So I just don't understand. It's $6. It's $6. I guarantee you that if I were to go, I'm going to do it right now. I guarantee you if I were to go onto the App Store and I looked for a different parking game, it would be nowhere near $6. There's so many different games that are available on the eShop that there's no reason I feel like that you should need to pay 6 times the amount of money that it would cost to play this game on your phone. There is a similar game on the eShop right now. There's one called Dr. Parking and Parking Mania, and they're both free. And
Dr. Parking.
Doctor, that's right. But let me tell you something. I don't need
the Dr. Thunder of game genres right here.
It really is. I don't need a PhD to let you know that the prescription for this is to stay away. All right. If you want a parking game on the Switch, I mean, I guess. But to me, there's just no reason to pay 6 times the amount of money, or sometimes infinitely, as you just saw. There's 2 free versions of this game that you can play on the App Store. It's just no reason. I just don't understand. I don't mind the mobile game port at all, because some mobile games are a lot of fun. I think Doodle Jump would be a blast on the Switch, especially with the long, standing it up long ways. I think that would be really cool. And that's a mobile game, and I totally pay to play it on the Switch. But I don't understand why I have to pay a Switch Premium. And this game's not this one's not the only game that does that. There are a lot of even bigger third-party games from studios that just happen to cost more because they're on the Switch. And this is an intense version of it costing much more. I understand it's only $6, but when it's a 600% increase, there's just no reason for that. So Parking Madness on the Nintendo Switch. If you like switching the cars around, I go for it. I can't with this game. We're gonna give this a 3. And the only reason I'm giving this game a 3 is because it is what it looks like. It doesn't mess anything up. There's nothing broken here. It's just the fact that it's $6 for a game that should be $1 at most.
Hey, I mean, that's reasoning. That's sound reasoning for sure. Yeah. Okay. So the game I am reviewing today, as I said, is Robozorro. It is $4.89 currently, and you get 24 gold coins when you purchase it digitally. 2D physics mayhem. Robozorro is a physics-based 2D action game where robots BO3 and O Ramotron embark on an epic quest through the outskirts, underbelly, and rooftops of Mech Angeles to uncover the mystery surrounding the disappearance of Dr. Zorro. Explore an unpredictable world brought to life by a dynamic 2D physics engine. Master the grab and blast physics manipulation tool to turn your surroundings into explosive weaponry. Collect junk while adventuring and trade for health, weapons, or upgrades. Recover unique gadgets to aid your journey across Mech Angeles. Unlock time trials and attempt to beat levels with no checkpoint or taking 0 damage. It's by our good friends over at East Asia Soft and made by Frozen Flame Interactive. And buddies, let me tell you, this game was a real piece of work. Okay? So first off, I want to tell you the music is decent, and the character designs and animations are good. They are good. The bosses are unique. They have a little bit of personality. There are, I think it was 12, at least 6 weapons that you can switch around, and the working of the weapon wheel is fairly intuitive to get up the actual wheel and then set different weapons to use. That's kind of where, and the storyline's it's there. It's okay. It's very standard. And that's all kind of where it drops off for me. The weapons are unique, like I said, but the gameplay itself is very, very frustrating. It's clunky. The controls are not that intuitive. It feels like it was definitely designed for Steam, and you would be playing it on a computer, or maybe even, no, not mobile, because it's so, the things they have you do it's not intuitive at all. It's like you need to remap this entire controller scheme to be able to make it actually play easier and better and more fun for you. It uses a weird mechanic of sort of like running out of energy, and there are many times where you'll think that you have your energy powered up for like a power shot kind of thing, and it's blinking like you have a power shot, but then nothing happens and it just kind of sits there. And so the bosses were unique, but I had the game crash and completely shut off 3 non-consecutive times when I was playing against bosses, and then I had to go beat the bosses again, which it was not ever easy to just beat them because, again, the controls are so clunky and not that user friendly. Even going to get like weapon upgrades or whatever you want to say, and it's basically like you pick up health and other packs of things that can help you and give you boosts, but even doing that, it's a hassle. And it's really hard to understand because it's just like, it looks like an arcade cabinet, and then it's like a blue screen of death almost. And it's like you click on it and you basically have to back out of the buying area to accept that you made the purchase. I don't know. I was not. It was very cumbersome. It was not a good experience, and it wasn't enjoyable. Parts of it were. I don't want to give it like the worst rap because, like I said, it's got a bit of unique flavor to it, and the character designs themselves are cool. I just wish the actual gameplay was much more polished, and maybe graphically it didn't look so necessarily Nintendo, maybe a little more Super. So because of that, I am going to give Robozorro a 2.5 out of 5.
A little bit of harsh scores from both of us today here on the Switch It Up show.
Well, yeah, man. I would have given it a solid 3 because you could go either way. Like if you could get past the controls, like it could be fun and the storyline could, get you in. But crashing numerous times like that immediately after you beat a boss, that's not cool. I gotta switch that right up.
Absolutely, my man. And that's the most important thing to remember, ladies and gentlemen. If you're playing a game and it's really just not pushing your buttons, make sure that you remember to switch it up.